If you look around your room and see a graveyard of half-finished projects, you probably feel a very specific type of shame. There's the guitar you swore you'd master, the half-coded website from last summer, the stack of books on 3 different languages, and that sudden, intense urge to learn wood carving that lasted exactly 2 weeks. To the outside world, you look chaotic. Your parents, your boss, and your friends probably have a word for you: unfocused. They tell you that you lack grit, and that if you don't just pick a lane, you will never be successful. Society has spent the last century worshiping the specialist, the person who digs one hole a mile deep. They call you a jack of all trades, master of none, but they always forget the second half of that quote: oftentimes better than a master of one. If your mind feels like a browser with 100 tabs open, you aren't broken, you aren't lazy, and you certainly aren't a failure. You possess a rare psychological profile known as a scanner, or a polymath in training. While the world is trying to force you into a box, your brain is actually wired for a future that the specialists aren't prepared for. Psychology reveals that people with too many interests possess a superpower called cognitive complexity. This is the ability to perform what scientists call far transfer. A specialist is a prisoner of their own field. They solve problems using the same old tools everyone else uses. But a person with diverse interests can take a concept from music theory, apply it to a business problem, and solve it using a logic that a specialist would never even see. You don't just see the notes, you see the entire symphony of how the world connects. Before we dive into how to turn this chaos into a career that makes you unbreakable, I have to ask, does your brain work this way? Do you find yourself constantly jumping from one obsession to the next? If so, you belong here. Hit that subscribe button right now to join our circle of deep thinkers. We are building a community for people with a high psycho IQ who refuse to be one thing. Welcome to the team. Now, let's talk about your strategy. The reason you feel overwhelmed isn't your curiosity, it's your delivery. You've been trying to build all your pillars at the same time. This is a recipe for burnout. The most successful polymaths in history, from Leonardo da Vinci to Elon Musk, practice what is known as serial mastery. Instead of trying to learn everything this week, you must give yourself permission to focus on one pillar for a season, maybe 6 months or a year. Build that skill until you reach the power of good enough. You don't need to be a world-class expert, you just need to be fluent enough to solve problems. Once that pillar is solid, you move to the next. Over time, these seemingly random pillars begin to form a bridge. This is the M-shaped mindset. You have the depth of a specialist, but the range of a visionary. In the age of artificial intelligence, being a specialist is actually a liability. AI can dig a hole deeper than any human, but AI cannot connect the dots between unrelated worlds. It cannot feel the soul of a project or weave a narrative across different domains. That is your job. Your chaotic interests are actually your insurance policy. You are building a safety net of skills that ensures no matter what happens to the economy or the job market, you have a pivot ready. Stop apologizing for your curiosity. Those weren't failed projects. They were semesters in the university of your own making. You were never meant to be a single instrument. You were meant to be the conductor. If this video spoke to your soul, drop a heart emoji in the comments and write the word synthesis to show you're ready to embrace your range. Master your mind, control your future. We'll see you in the next one.